Yes, for a period of time, the only treatment for syphilis was malaria, and the scientist who invented the treatment won the Nobel Prize for it in 1927. He is, however, lucky he was nominated and got it in 1927 because penicillin was invented the very next year. Treponema pallidum has been a scourge on humanity for centuries. It has a specific method of getting into the population by being latent. Someone can get it, they might get sick initially, and then it'll go away, even for a period of years, and it will come back with a vengeance and people's faces melt off. Now, originally, this particular bacteria used to hit really fast and really hard. It was called the apocalypse of Europe. Some people call it the zombie apocalypse of Europe. But having your face melt off is not the best way to spread if you're a slow-growing bacteria that's transferred in very specific ways. So it chilled out a little bit. Going through historical records, it seems to go through these cycles again and again, where it hits really hard, really fast, and then kind of chills the F out. But being a little critter that grows really slowly, it also has the ability to become antibiotic resistant. So this might be, relevant again one day. On to our friend, the physician, Julius Wagner Warrag. Jareg? He was Austrian. Treponema pallidum is very temperature sensitive. Much like leprosy, it tends to affect the extremities first. There was one condition that did induce a very high fever, but also had a reasonably simple cure: quinine. So he gave his patients malaria. Now let's be clear, having a very high fever can also cause things like brain damage to your organ systems. But the trade-off was worth it, and it was successful. As for our little friends, the bacteria, we now have a situation where we have some of these things that can be incurable with the current antibiotics that are available. For those who are allergic to certain antibiotics, it could be that much harder to actually get this stuff cleared out of your system. We are still trapped in a war with bacteria trying to make new antibiotics. The interesting thing about antibiotic resistance is that it doesn't stick around that long. It could take 30, it could take 100 generations, but bacteria will not keep around the resistances that they don't need. However, in a hospital environment, these things are being exposed to antibiotics constantly, and we end up with multi-drug resistant bacteria. It's a wee bit more complicated because some of the same mechanisms that they use to overcome a certain antibiotic may also be applicable to another. A really common one is efflux pumps, where it just pumps the antibiotic out of the cell. Either way, we're in a situation here. I really hope we'll never need to give people something like malaria again to clear syphilis, but I could see a world where something like that happens.